Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got another book review for you, and this time we are reviewing the quintessential Running the Gauntlet. This book is written by Jim Ward, and it details the birth of Gauntlet Enterprises, the very first body piercing studio in America. This book starts out with Jim's life growing up in the Midwest in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, and particularly growing up as a young gay man in a time when it was completely unacceptable and even dangerous to be gay. It details what life was like for him living in small rural towns, very influenced by religion and social stigma, his understanding of his queerness and his gay identity from a very young age, and the life decisions that eventually led him to move to Colorado, New York, LA, and finally find and embrace the gay and queer community. And through this, come to fall in love with body piercing and ultimately end up opening Gauntlet. Gauntlet was America's very first piercing studio. Gauntlet opened in November of 1975 because Jim Ward wanted his enterprise to be a spicy Scorpio baby, which we love, and it really revolutionized body piercing and kind of kickstarted body piercing as an industry. Before Gauntlet, body piercing was something that kinky queer folks did in the privacy of their own homes, in their basements, and at kink and leather events. But Gauntlet brought piercing as an industry into the mainstream. And this book details that journey with funny client interactions like sassing Madonna's personal assistant and the unique and colorful clients of California that came in and the wild and outrageous clients in New York. It alternates between this very poignant biopic of what it was like to be not only a gay man throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but a leather man, into S&M, all of these subcultures that were very demonized and hated at the time, and juxtaposes that with these very meticulous technical descriptions of how piercings were being done, how we were literally inventing new piercings, new tools, and new placements, and all of the politicking and behind-the-scenes business that ultimately led to Gauntlet's incredible success and its eventual closure. This book is far and away probably one of the top must-reads I would say I have for anyone in the industry, looking to get into the industry, or even just really passionate about piercing at all. I say all the time that piercing is firmly rooted in queer culture, and this book does an incredible job of outlining just how true that is. You realize as you are reading through Jim's experiences and the people he connected with that built the modern body piercing industry, made it possible for us to be sitting here having this conversation on YouTube, was completely firmly rooted in gay, queer, kink subculture. I mean, Jim first sees someone with their ears pierced at a leather bar and falls in love with and finds so attractive the earlobe piercings that this man has. So much so that he decides to get one himself, an earlobe piercing that he still wears to this day. After that, he details private dreams he's had about piercing his nipples for months and months on end before one day, finally with a cork from a wine bottle, a pin, and some old earrings and jeweler's wire, he fashions himself some little 3/8 rings and manages to pierce his own nipples. From there, just from wearing nipple piercings, so many other men that he encounters and spends time with find those piercings attractive that he starts offering piercings on them. Through some mutual friends in the queer community, he connects with a man named Doug Malloy, who has a massive fascination in body piercing. And Doug offers to fund the business venture of opening Gauntlet. He has been privately communicating with piercing collectors and piercing enthusiasts all over the world. And when he meets Jim, he says that he knows that they are destined to do something great together. And the partnership between Doug Malloy and Jim Ward is formed, and out of that, we get Gauntlet. This book is such a cherished and incredible piece of body modification history, and it is so amazing to know our roots and have so much documentation of our roots, which is so often lost in many other industries and fields, and be able to trace exactly to whom we owe the industry that we work in, some of the piercings that we offer today, and the tools that we use every day in our studio. And Running the Gauntlet covers all of that. Now, fair warning, this book will make you laugh, it might make you cry, and it is also filled with a lot of R-rated piercing images. I'm not kidding when I say that piercing is so firmly rooted in gay and queer leather subculture, so you can expect to see a lot of pierced penises, a lot of hot leather daddies, and a lot of fun leather dykes and S&M outfits and kink party photos. Jim Ward is not just an incredible and prolific body piercer, he's also a great writer and a pretty good photographer. And a lot of his personal photos all throughout his life are collected here in this book, which is very cool to see, although sometimes the pictures of people piercing folks completely barehanded with like ice picks and pins can be a little overwhelming to look at. It's just a very well documented collection of all of these elements of piercing history. And they also do a good job of interspersing in the cultural impact Gauntlet has. I mean, we're talking the nip slip at the Super Bowl, Britney Spears' belly button piercing, the piercings at Lollapalooza. It documents all of the impact culturally that the Gauntlet helped start the piercing movement and what that looked like all throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I can't recommend this book highly enough, and what's better yet, you can purchase it directly from Jim Ward. You can even get autographed copies from him through his site, and these funds go to help Jim living his life and enjoying a wonderful retirement. And we are so lucky that Jim is still here with us today and that we can still purchase this book directly from him and support him. So if you're interested in reading Running the Gauntlet, I strongly suggest purchasing straight from Jim, as opposed to going through like Amazon or Barnes & Nobles or a third-party vendor, just so that Jim can get the best cut of the profits for all that he's done for us in the industry. So if you're looking for a book to add to your to-read list, you should definitely be putting Running the Gauntlet on it because it is incredibly well written, it's hard to put down, and it is such a perfect encapsulation of how the modern body piercing industry became what it is today. All right, folks, thanks so much for hanging out, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with y'all again soon. Bye.